like in my head I was like, if you don't keep quiet, it's so easy for you to just sit and say you need to be still. Come and be still for me. Okay, so my cousin came in to the labor ward, and my husband was like, they were telling her that, oh, she can't be there. And then Richie was like, oh, do you want her there? I was like, oh yeah, it's fine, she should be here. So she took a chair and she sat in the corner. So like on the left side where I was lying, I could see her, like she was in my direct line of vision. So she was just sitting there praying and praying, and it was very comforting to see her just sitting there praying, like honestly, even though I was in a lot of pain. So Richie comes back from buying the medicine, and then I'm still hitting him, clawing, shouting, screaming, and the nurse keeps saying, stop shouting, stop screaming, like you need the energy. But at a point I couldn't be bothered. Then I think by, was it 9 o'clock? Whenever they checked again, I think I was 6 or 7, and that's where it, like, I didn't progress again. But it's like I was in so much pain, and then it didn't, like, all the pain medications were, oh, I just remember this. So I think at a point I was like, I need a epidural. And this was like an hour or 2 after we had gotten there. And they were like, no, you can't have it. I'm like, why? They were like, oh, where you didn't ask. What the first thing she said was, you didn't ask for it when you came. And I was like, but nobody told me that I'm supposed to ask for it when I get there. Like, nobody has given me any information about it. So how was I even supposed to know? And also where you've gotten to, we can't give it to you. So I remember Richie was so angry. I was so angry, but I was too much in pain to really focus on my anger. Even though I was very angry, I was very disappointed. I was like, okay, you guys, forget you guys. So then at a point, Richie also had to go and buy some medication. So my cousin came to sit by me, and then I held on to her. So like now she was a punching bag, because the main punching bag was gone. So then around 10:30ish, somewhere around then, I felt somebody touch. I was lying on my left, so I felt somebody touch my side, like my waist, and I nearly hit, like I literally, like, because I said I didn't want to feel anybody like touching me, so don't rub my back. And then I nearly hit the person, said, who is that? And then for some reason I just turned to see it was my doctor. He had finally come. I was like, I would have hit him, but anyway, he would have understood, I guess. But in terms of the labor pain, it was very, very painful. It's like what people say, it's like menstrual cramps times 10,000 raised to the power 2. What?
Such a pain.
It was crazy. So some people have like the contractions in their back, and like I think the entire back, especially like their waist, and some people it's their abdomen. But for me it was both. So sometimes it felt like something that was crawling. So it's like first it starts in my abdomen, then it will be so painful. I'll be shouting, and then it stops. And then the next one that comes is in my waist. So sometimes I'm shouting, my waist, my waist, my waist. And then the nurses will be sitting there, the one who was saying labor and sweet. She was like, this has to happen for the, she was a very sweet nurse. So this has to happen for the baby to come. Or if it doesn't happen, the baby won't come. Some way, somehow, that actually helped my thinking, because I was like, okay, like, I mean, she was right. It has to happen. It's supposed to help him come out. But it's painful. She's like, don't worry, you'll be fine. Labor is sweet, though. Labor is sweet. And I'm like, can you stop? Can you stop saying that, please? And then sometimes it will be like my abdomen. So I'm 1 minute I'm shouting my abdomen, my abdomen, my abdomen. And then it's like it's moving. Then it gets my waist, my waist, my waist. So sometimes I felt like I sounded like I was mad. And sometimes I felt like maybe like the midwives sitting there were just judging me or laughing at me. And I'm like, okay, I'm sure I'm not the only dramatic person who has been in labor before. So like it's normal to them. But for me, I felt like it probably was funny to them, because it's like I'm shouting my waist, my waist, my waist. They're like, my abdomen, my abdomen. Oh God. So around between 10 and 10:30, and then sometimes they'll say, okay, move onto your back so that we can check the contractions, or so that we can check the baby's heartbeat. And it's like they wanted me to move immediately, and I'm like, I'm in the middle of a contraction, so let's just stop and then I'll move. So then I felt like sometimes they didn't understand that. So then at a point they were annoying me. So then when it ebbed, then I'll move, and the moving was, I didn't understand. Like when I was at that point, I couldn't understand all the stories of women I had watched who said, oh, they were like walking up and down the ward, and like, how am I supposed to walk with this? So they wanted to keep the baby. There's this strap that they put around the belly to monitor the baby's heartbeat. So now they wanted me to be on my back so they could fix that. But I think somehow I kept slipping off, or it was something. So then when I lie on my back, they can't really hear. So at a point I think it became messy where it's like they couldn't detect his heartbeat. And earlier on I'd heard one of the nurses saying that he had passed meconium. Now meconium is the very first tool that the babies pass, like when they are born. And they shouldn't pass it in the womb. Otherwise it's very dangerous if they like ingest it. So those were two things. So at that point the doctor was like, okay, first of all, you should have progressed past the 7 cm by now, but you haven't, and you're in a lot of pain. None of the pain medications we are giving you is working, and we are finding it hard to detect his heartbeat, so we're going to have to do a CS. Praise Jesus. I was like I didn't hesitate. I was like, yes, that's fine, because all I wanted was that epidural or whatever injection to just take away the pain. This was 10:30. I thought that as you have said that, they are wheeling me there and then through the labor, the theater, to go and, you know, start the surgery. And they're like, oh, they had to call the anesthesiologist to come. And he was at Spintex. He was somewhere. It took him 30 minutes to get to the hospital. So you could see my husband was frantic. He was like, what is going on? Like, where is he? Like, oh, we've called him. He said he's on his way. Like, should I go and pick him up? Because it's like, now you're going to do a CS. So there's no point of you being in pain. So, like, it was frustrating me. It was frustrating him. It was frustrating my cousin. He finally comes and he now comes to ask me all these questions. Are you allergic to this, that? And then you now have to sign things. So we signed everything. Then like, okay, now get off the bed and get onto the wheelchair. That was another. And at that point, I had just thrown all caution to the wind. I was screaming. Could you hear me from the bed?
I did, and I was freaking out. I'm like, what is happening?
You could hear me from the waiting room.
At the point, I came to stand by the door, you know, the main entrance, and then it's like, oh, don't worry, she's fine. Like, why is she screaming like that? Like, what's happening? I was scared. Like, I was really damn, because I felt we had bought a lot of drugs to make the pain, you know, a bit better for you, and here is this man screaming like.
Because at that point I was like, I don't care that it's almost midnight. I don't care that there are other sick people around. I'm just going to shout, because that is what is helping me feel better. So I was literally shouting. I won't lie, like I was shouting. So we got to the theater, and it's like everybody is just, I'm sitting on they managed to put me up on the bed, and I'm sitting there, and it's like I'm still shouting, I'm still screaming, I'm still crying, and it's like they're just going about their business as if
nothing is happening.
Nothing is going on. Like, okay, there's a woman sitting here screaming, yeah, and I'm like, can you people be fast about it? And then the anesthesiologist was not taking his time doing things. My doctor was just sitting in the corner, just waiting. It's like he was just waiting for everybody to get ready so like he can just cut me open. And so then finally, the man was ready to inject him. That was like, I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes later, I don't know. And I kept looking at the time. I was like, this baby needs to come before midnight. Let me tell you why. Because I was like, if it's a boy, we had already agreed that we'll give him his Ewe name as a first name, and then the day name will be the fancy name. So I was like, I either want Monday, who will be Jojo, Friday, who will be Yofi, or I think I wanted Thursday is what? No, I didn't want Yao. There was another one I wanted. Then Saturday, Kwamina. I took Kwamina. So I was like, Lord, for some reason I didn't want a Kwesi. So I'm sorry to all the Kwesi, any Kwesi who is watching this, or if your husband is Kwesi or whatever, but I didn't want a Kwesi. So I was like, Lord, this baby. So I kept looking at the watch. Like, we need to start. This baby needs to come before midnight. This baby needs to come before midnight. So then now, by the time the guy was ready to inject me, he was like, you need to be still. And that was one thing I was very scared about, because I've heard so many stories of, like, if they don't inject it well, or if you move, you have to be very still for them to, I think there's a certain point that you need to find a certain hole or something. So you need to be very still for them to get it and inject the right place. Otherwise you could get paralyzed or have complications. So I was very scared, and I was like, the contractions were like back to back. So and I mean, you have to wait for the contraction to pass, because I couldn't sit still doing a contraction. So now he was like, okay, he's ready. He was cleaning the place up, and I was still screaming and moving. And so it's like he was finding it hard to find it. And then my doctor just says, come, AC, you need to be still so that he can find the spots.
Dude, what did you say again?
Like, in my head, I was like, if you don't keep quiet, it's so easy for you to just sit there and say, you need to be still. Come and be still for me. So like the contraction passed, and then I prayed. I was like, God, just help him find it. I don't want to like be paralyzed forever or whatever. So he found it. He injected me. Like, hallelujah. That being said, I'm not treating anybody or making anybody feel bad, but when you are in labor and they tell you that you have to have a CS, especially if there are some kind of complications or something, you say no, I want to push this baby out, or like no, I don't want to have epidural. Why do you want to put yourself through that pain? I don't get it, honestly. That's a topic for another day, because sometimes I have issues, like especially on YouTube here, like I see people put up their birth stories, my unmedicated birth, or my birth story, no epidural, and like the no epidural is in capital letters, like warrior champ, like I've made it without who is going to give you that medal? Me, the president? No. Like, I'm not saying that like everybody should take epidural, but if you realize that you cannot take the pain, there's no shame in asking for epidural, and there's no shame in taking epidural. And don't let anybody shame me for taking it, because I've seen and it's always the woman. I'm yet to come across a man, maybe I may be wrong, but I'm yet to come across any comments of a man shaming a woman for taking epidural when she's in labor. It's always the woman. And then recently on the Jomo Baby channel, this lady was sharing her story, and she was like, when she asked for epidural, the nurse said, you are young, so you can do it. Like, my mouth dropped open when I was like, what rubbish.
Pain is sweet. It's allowed.
Like, like, how do you tell me that I am young, so I should be able to take the pain, so you will not give me some of these things frustrate me. Sometimes I'll be there and I'll just get agitated, because like suddenly I just think of these things. I'm like, what is wrong with people? Like, you are a whole medical professional, you are a midwife, and you deny somebody of pain relief because you feel like, oh, you're bad, so you should be able to do it. And then the older women who say, we did it during our time. Well, you this young woman, you are lazy and taking epidural. Lazy. Then when you have a headache, don't take para. If you're somewhere it's paining you, don't take Panadol. Just endure it, because you expect everybody. But so then why was epidural even created in the first place? Okay, you know what? This would be a rant for another video, because if I start this thing, I will not end today. So anyways, I was injected, and immediately I lay down. I was like, like I couldn't feel anything. Like, I literally almost forgot that I had been in so much pain just seconds ago. So I lay down, and then no, my husband didn't come just yet, so then they prepared. So it's like you can feel your body being moved, but you can't feel anything. It was such a relief. So then they started the session. I was like, where's my husband? Then he finally appears. Then later on, he said that when he entered, they had just cut me open. So, and he turned. He turned, and then he's like, he saw my inside. But
you actually came to the reception, and when I said, I was like, Bishop, what's happening? So Charlie. So easy. I'm like, you so easy, how? Cut. And then I'm like, you like, shall I get you water? I said, I'm not hungry either way. And I was just teasing her. Actually, it was the look on his face was a bit scary as well. But
so they took the baby out. the nurse brought him and showed him to us. And me, the first thing was I wanted to really confirm if it was a boy because we thought it was going to be a girl. So when we had the first scan and we're told that it's a boy, it took me a while to accept it. And then we had another scan, like all the scans just confirmed it was a boy. So me, I was in my heart, I was still like, what if it, like I've heard stories of they say it's a boy and it comes and it's a girl. So I also don't want to put my heart there and then. So by the time I could even lift my eyes up, they just put the baby up. So I don't even think I remember. Like I have an image of how he looked like when they showed him to me. So they took him away, and then they stitched me up and then moved me back to the ward, like to my room. And then when they took me to my room, now I was so thirsty. I don't know why labor makes you so thirsty. I don't know. And then like when you're in labor too, it's like you are between, it's as if you are between life and death. It's like it's like you're not awake, you are not asleep. It's like you don't even know where you are, but then a contraction will just bring you back into reality. And then it's like when it goes and it's like you're gone for a bit. I guess it's sleep, but it doesn't feel like sleep. It's as if like you just go unconscious. That's how it felt like to me. Then suddenly you realize that, oh, you are among the living and something is happening. Anyway, so my human being was born before 12 midnight, a few minutes to 12 midnight. So he's at a Kwame. And yeah, so by the time I got back to my room, she and my cousin came to their room to see the baby. What time was it? It was like past 1.
Yeah, it was past 1.
Because by the time you guys left the hospital, it was like 1:30 or almost 2
it was almost 2 actually. We got home almost 3 a.m. So they were there from start to finish. And it was very comforting to know that you had people who were there. And on the way to the hospital, my dad called me. Was like, hey, because my dad is one person that apparently in his lifetime they are not able to surprise him. And my husband says the same thing about me. Like I always ruin surprises. Very true.
No, but you see, which surprise did I ruin again?
Really? We'll talk about it.
Because no, which one again? My bridal shower.
It was part.
No, my bridal shower, I didn't ruin the surprise. You people, okay, you know something? For the rest of my life, you people plan my surprises well. Let me just say it that way. Yes, because madam. No, the bridal shower, you had Saturday, no, I think Saturday I worked. But Sunday I did so Saturday I did morning shift. Sunday I did morning shift. You could have planned it for the afternoon. Even the Monday was a holiday. Yes, Monday was a holiday, was the 26th.
Yeah, it was a holiday.
You people still didn't plan it for I don't want to know why it decided to plan it for the day I said I am going to Kaswa. Before you now told me.
No, we wanted to do it that day actually. We heard that church had a chill out something like madam, so no,
not baby shower, bridal shower.
Okay, no, that one I think somebody wasn't available. We all wanted to be around, so then we had to,
and the same
keep
for the
going.
baby shower.
Yeah.
So my dad called me on the way to the hospital. He was like, hey. And I forgot what he said, but he was laughing like, it's like you are just like your father. You cannot be surprised. People cannot surprise
at
you.
All.
It's as if he had this smug. He was being so smug about it, and he was like, and now your baby is doing the same thing. Like, you can't surprise. My husband says he's given up on surprising. No, but you see, the reason why he also gave it out is because after the all night, he said Coco said you should come for a pack of water. I'm like, what are you using a pack of water for? So he came holding 2 packs of bottled water, and I'm like, what's going on? Why are you holding bottled water? So that's what made me suspicious. And then when she was saying that, oh, Estelle said she's taking you somewhere, like, where are we going? She said, I said she's taking you somewhere. And I was like, please, you're taking me somewhere with 2 packs of water.
Can't I take you out to a picnic with 2 packs of water? Is it a crime? Hey, you're not true.
Anyway, so that's my labor and delivery story.
Oh, so when we entered after you gave birth and you came in to your room, we were there. Who does that? You've given birth fresh, and I think was it a picture we took? It's like, oh, my face has become dark. Oh,
hey, dark. I became dark.
I'm like, really? Is that all you're worried about? It was
during the pregnancy, I didn't realize how I didn't get that to the latter part of pregnancy, like 34, 35 weeks. But when I saw that, I was like, God, I'm dark. I've become black. I'll find one of my the baby shower pictures. When I look at the baby shower pictures, like I don't even like to look at those pictures because, hey, I became black and I had just done my locks too, so the locks were not looking nice. All of that combined.
Oh, good.
So when you took that picture, I was like, oh Lord, like I was dark.
And you were freaking out. I was wondering why you were. It was a
I
big
don't know.
problem. I'm like, I'm too dark, Richie.
I
Look.
was
And then Richie was
dark.
like, relax. Don't worry, you get your color back. I was like, when? I'm like, oh, tomorrow
But
morning.
I don't even remember that.
Really? Because for me, it was one of the things that really stayed with me. And one way you said, I'm dark. I'm like, ah.
I was dark. I think
No,
maybe
but
the last few
fair.
days of the pregnancy, I became so dark. I became like
No.
black.
Listen, you're not fair. So why was it a huge
I'm not
problem?
fair.
So why was
But
it?
I'm not black. Am I black?
Tuntum koko.
So yeah, but the color started returning. I think a week or maybe like 2 weeks. It was Richie who started noticing it, but me, I couldn't see it. He was like, hey, your color is coming back. And I'm like, I cannot see it. Like, I still look very black. Not that there's anything wrong with being black, but it's like looking at your complexion before and after, it vast difference. Yeah, it was a very
Color is back now.
It's a beautiful color. Thank you very much.
It's a bougie one.
Anyway, so yeah, that's my labor and delivery story.
No, hold on, there's something. You know, at a point you're like, Estelle, go home. Don't worry, I'll be fine. You know, when we took him back the next, I'm like, go home, says, no, I'm staying with you. Like, okay, you know, don't worry.
When I was in labor or when I gave birth?
When you're in labor, it's like, just pick a car. Either pick a car and go pick an Uber or pay. And
when
you
did
go,
I say that? In the car?
because he told me, Estelle, and there's even wache in the fridge. I prepare some wache and shit. So you go home and go and eat and rest. I'm like,
did I say it with my mouth?
Yes, with your mouth. I'm surprised you don't remember. Because when I came, I was like, where's the wache? You know, I didn't even get to eat the wache and I left. A shame. This one I called this Ubiabedi or something. I was really...
No, but you ate some.
I didn't.
So how
When I
come
came
you
back,
saying
no.
that the watch was very nice?
No, that was another time. It wasn't there when you gave birth. That one. He's like, oh, go home, please pick an Uber. Okay.
But when did I say that? Was I in the labor room?
You went, no, I think when we took you in there first, and then like you had been in pain for so many hours, and then you were like, okay, because I'm tired, so I should go home and then go and eat something and rest.
I
and then
spoke
you were
to you
showing,
directly.
Yes.
How did I speak to you?
How did you speak to me? I don't know. Ask yourself.
Did you come there?
Yeah, I came inside. That's when
And
you
I said
said
it to you.
Yes.
I
Also,
don't
watch it. Fridge. You're trying to show me where watch is, and I'm like, this woman is in Emma. She's telling me where watch and shit is, and I made stew and it's here and it's here. So I'm like, really watch it, and she wants watch it. So no, but it was after when I went me, watch it by this time. She go home saying, "Oh, not me buy it." Anyways.
No, I guess when I was feeling bad or I was feeling like, oh, you're just sitting in the waiting room the whole
But
time.
it's okay.
When it's going to end.
Yeah, at least my first time it was scary, but it was good.
So I guess in another video I'll talk about my postpartum experience, postpartum depression, baby blues, all of that. All right, guys. So thank you so much for listening to my story with her alongside. Yes, she makes very lovely sandwiches. Very tasty sobolo.
Go me.
This is not like just hype or because she's sitting here. Like honestly, she's been making sobolo for me since like 2010.
Yeah.
Yes, and I have my special sobolo recipe that she makes for only me. But like I said, I'll leave a link to her Instagram page in the description box. Really, really, really tasty salad. Like honestly, please go and order your salad and tell her that you are from Winging It with AC.
You get a discount when you do that. Thank you.
Ja. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next video.
Bye.